Would you go on a 2-week road trip with your best friend? Well, here's what I did. We flew into Vegas, then drove 3 hours to Zion. We hiked an easy 1 mile out and back called Canyon Overlook. Day 2, we drove 1 hour north to go canyoneering at East Zion Adventures. 1 more hour north was Bryce Canyon. We did a short hike called the Queen's Garden Loop. Day 3 was probably our longest day yet. We hiked the Narrows, which was over 12 hours long. Absolutely worth it. Day 4, since our legs were toast, we went extreme tubing 4 hours north at Olympic Park. Day 5, we had breakfast with a view. We took Big Bread up to overlook the Grand Tetons. We headed deep in the valley to go whitewater rafting on the Snake River, which was way more fun than I remember. We were so hungry after, of course we had to go to the $1 Million Cowboy Bar. Day 6, we took a boat shuttle over Jenny Lake to the Grand Tetons. From there, we hiked 2 miles to Hidden Falls. It was so hidden, without even noticing, we hiked past it. Driving up to Yellowstone, we already started to see our first wildlife. Besides wildlife, Yellowstone, of course, is famous for their geysers, Old Faithful, and many others that smell much like rotten eggs. Yellowstone is a massive park, but it has many pull-offs for you to quickly go off and catch a beautiful view. Or stop for the wildlife, which many do. We drove 6 hours north to go to Glacier National Park. We hiked Swift Current and Josephine Lake, and encountered a little friend. Then we saw even more wildlife, going from the east side of the park to the west side. Going to the Sun Road had some of the most beautiful views I had ever seen, but you do need a permit if you come from the west side of the park. We ended day 9 at Quinn's Hot Springs, 2 hours south of Glacier. Day 11, we finally made it to Washington, where we went to a marine life center and got to touch creatures typically found in tide pools. After a short 1-mile hike, we saw Soul Duck Falls. Despite being so cold, Washington gets a lot of rain still, and they have an actual rainforest. Day 13, we took Route 1 down the Oregon coast. Day 14, I was absolutely terrified of natural bridges. You actually have to hike over a 4-foot cliff to go on this hike. After we dropped by Fern Canyon and the Redwoods National Forest, this was actually where they filmed the scene from Jurassic Park. We then dropped by Lady Bird Trail, which had these huge redwood trees. It was our last day, and since we were flying out of San Francisco, we had to stop by Alcatraz. Is this the vacation you would go on?